everyone. We'll just get started in just a couple of minutes. Awesome. So let's get started. Welcome everyone. Welcome to Hindi University. Really excited to be with all of you again this Sunday. As you know, we meet every Sunday 8 a.m. US Pacific time, and we learn about the Hindi language. And for those of you who are new to Hindi University, you can learn more about us by going to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Hindi University. And you'll find several Hindi related videos to begin with. And as you know, we've been working on the book called Teach Yourself Hindi, and we've been systematically covering it. Teach Yourself Hindi. It's a book written by Professor Rupert Snell, and you can get a copy of the book as well through Amazon or through the link that we have, tiny.cc/Hindi University, and you can follow us throughout the book. And so far we've been from last week we started working on chapter 13 of that book, and we will continue to work on this book. And my goal for this class is to do absolutely that. And by the end of this class, my goal is like all of you will be pretty comfortable with using a keyword in Hindi called chahiye. So we'll start with very basics of chahiye, and we'll incrementally go over the topics of how to use it in an advanced Hindi sentences. Okay, and as always, feel free to ask as many questions as you want. That's the whole point of having the interactive class. Okay, so with that being in mind, I hope all of you can hear me okay. And if there's any audio issues as well, let me know. So let's begin with the topic called chahiye. It's a very important topic. We have covered it in the previous classes as well, but I thought we'll add some more flavors to it in this class. Interesting keyword, and it changes based on how it is used. Okay, so before I even give you the answer of it, let me ask some of you, what is your understanding of chahiye, and what does it mean? So, if you can unmute yourself, Tom, you want to tell us what does it mean, chahiye?
Professor, I've not had a chance to study. I have no idea what chahiye means.
Okay, so by the end of this class, I promise you will you will know. So let's see. Leon, you want to tell us what is chahiye and if you have used it in the past?
To want.
To want, okay. To want, okay. Anyone else?
Is needed.
Okay, to want or to need. Okay, awesome. What else? Can anyone think of any other scenario? Vatsalaji, what do you think?
It's like a desire also, huh?
Okay, what? Say it again.
Could it be must?
Okay, awesome, almost there. It should. Okay, so there are two distinct classes of chahiye. Some of you already mentioned to want or to need or to desire. Okay, these are whenever chahiye is used as a verb. Okay, and Vatsalaji mentioned it's a modal verb where it is used along with other verb. There, the meaning is should, like you should do this thing. Where I'm using should along with other verb do here to do. Okay, here I am using it as a verb, like I want a phone, or I want a laptop, or I need help, or I need a job. Like all of those, you are using it as a verb. Okay, so we'll start with this first, and then we'll go into how to use it as a modal verb. Okay, and along with that, we will see how we can use a direct object or indirect object within that. Okay, so let's start with a very basic one, which you guys mentioned: to want or to need. Okay, I should have written to need, to need there. Okay, so let's see something you need or you want. Okay, so you need or you want something. Okay, this is your template. So this is, I'm going to call it case number 1. Okay, where you need or you want something. In Hindi, when you're really translating it one-on-one, it would be, to me, whatever this thing is needed. This is how it will translate into. Don't ask me why, but that's how it kind of gets replicated. And then, or to you in this case, because we are using to you. Okay, and as you know, you in Hindi is aap, and to equivalent of Hindi is ko. And then you have this thing as it is, and then if needed or is desired, it gets translated as chahiye. So really your template is aapko, which is basically a pronoun used with a postposition ko. Okay, something is needed. Okay, and you can change pronoun, right? There's no need that you have to use aapko, but in our example we're using aapko. Okay, so then you can really say whatever you want, or whatever I think you want. Okay, so I can say aapko, you know, if I see you getting some fruits, I can say aapko aam chahiye. That means you want mangoes. Okay, or I can say aapko chai chahiye. Okay, you need a chai or a coffee. Okay, or I can say aapko help chahiye, like you need help. Now I can ask this question in an interrogative way as well, like do you need help? Kya aapko madad chahiye or kya aapko help chahiye? Okay, in this case I'm using it in an affirmative case, but you get my point, right? I mean, if I'm really, my tone is interrogative, it means like, do you need something? Okay, my friends come to my house and I'm going to ask them, kya aapko pani chahiye? Like, do you need water? Okay, similarly I can change it to something else. I can say aapko kitab chahiye, or do you need a book? You get the point. It's very straightforward. The template is given to you. You just have to have the right pronoun you are addressing to and the right the noun here. Okay. Case number 1 is very straightforward. So I want all of you to write down some sample sentences, at least 2 sample sentences where you can use it as it is, and you can change it, and at least tell me how will you use it. Okay, so you can use the Zoom chat, to write down your answers. And
Ashu Ji,
yeah, go ahead.
so mera ek sawal hai. If I want to say, so I'm trying to get the difference between like mujhko haircut chahiye or main haircut chahati hoon, right? Like what's the difference really between I want something and using chahati hoon versus chahiye? Like is it more like it's really needed versus just kind of, oh, that would be nice to have? Is that when you use chahana as a verb?
Oh, so that's an interesting word, right? I mean, so you're saying like I need haircut is like I need something versus the other one. What did you say?
I want. It's
want.
like I need versus I want. And I know they're close. So that's what I'm just trying to get the distinction. It seems like the needed one, mujhko haircut chahiye, is like, as my current situation is, I haven't had a haircut in over a year, so I'm in bad need. But like if I'm just like, oh yeah, I want a haircut. Like it's less urgent. Is that what it is? I'm just trying to get the distinction between the chahiye when you use that versus chahana as the verb. Like
As a native speaker, I don't think too much about that distinction when I'm using it, right? I mean, so only I'll think, and I'm just thinking out loud as you're asking me. If I'm thinking about if I want a person, like for example, मैं शाहरुख खान को चाहता हूँ. That means I love someone in that context. Only then I can use it like I want, But other than that, I'm gonna just use it like मुझे, I will use it as the first one that you were saying, मुझको haircut चाहिए versus मैं haircut चाहती हूँ. I'm not gonna use that, the other scenario. Um, uh, I'll think about some more cases that give you distinction, because that's an interesting one, right? I mean, where you are trying to see if both of them are closely related or somewhat different. Anyone else who would like to share their thought while I am also thinking and reflecting on this one?
Just later we can look at it. He has a little A, B, C, D examples on page 165 where he
Yeah.
lays out, but I couldn't get it from that chart. Like where was the difference?
Yeah. Awesome. So anyone else? Let's see, what did you write in the examples? I want to see. मुझे टिश्यू चाहिए, मुझे मुझे आराम चाहिए, आई नीड रेस्ट, मुझे आइसक्रीम चाहिए, मुझे दूध चाहिए, मुझे कलम चाहिए, मुझे so there your answer is right, but you have to use it along with the verb. When you're saying I need to do practice, so you have to use that practice and then to do. So then you can say मुझे रियाज करना चाहिए. Okay, so we'll come to that use case soon. Okay, Simona is saying आपको क्या चाहिए, and then आपको आराम चाहिए, आपको दवा चाहिए. Okay, awesome. So these are all good cases, right, where you need आपको खाना चाहिए. Okay, khana is used as a noun, right? Now need, and then you're saying you need food. Okay, or you or if I'm using it like I want food, like मुझे खाना चाहिए. Okay, so far so good. Okay, any questions, anyone? आपको नाश्ता चाहिए, धनराज is saying. Okay, good. Yirka, clear so far? Okay, awesome. Next one. Okay, so this is our case number 1. All you're doing is like I need or I want something. Okay, let's do case number 2. Jamil, so good to have you after a while. We missed you.
Thank you so much. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, and I'm sure all your colleagues, they feel the same way. Let's do the next one, okay? Where now I have the same template. आपको, and I'm going to say चाहिए here as well. Okay, now I'm saying I'm using a verb in between. So far it was all noun in between, right? Now what if I use a verb in between, and if I say आपको खेलना चाहिए? What is खेलना? Jamil, now that I have you, let me ask you, what is खेलना?
खेलna is to play.
To play. Okay, and what does it mean? आपको खेलना चाहिए.
Yeah, I want to play. I'm not.
No, when I'm asking you, आपको खेलना चाहिए, what do you think it will mean?
Oh no, sorry. You want to play.
You want to play? Okay, so different, something different.
Or you should play something like. You should play. Okay.
You should play. So why it all automatically changed, Yaman? You should play. It was before. If let's say there was a if I had आपको ball चाहिए, like a cricket ball or a football, right? आपको football चाहिए. There I used a noun, okay, and it was all good. Like you want a ball or you need a football, and all of a sudden, when I used a verb here, the meaning all of a sudden changed, right? Which means now you should play. Why do you think it is the case?
I don't have much clue about that. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. Okay, you see that, like, but you see the distinction, right? All of a sudden, when we use a verb here, the model verb, it really uses supporting. It plays the role of a supporting staff in this case. In prior case, it was using the dominantly it was used. It was support, like when there was no one to fight. Let's say you are in a war again, and there was no one. It was playing the dominant role before. Okay. But now there's other verb, it is really supporting from the background that go for it, I'm going to help you out. Okay, and that's what it is doing. So when you know आपको खेलना चाहिए, you should play. Okay, आपको चलना चाहिए. What does it mean? Yirka, आपको चलना चाहिए.
You should walk.
Okay, चलना is to walk. Okay, next one, आपको दौड़ना चाहिए. Tara ji, what does it mean?
You should run.
To run. Okay. I'm going to give one more example. आपको जाना चाहिए. वेदांत, आपको जाना चाहिए.
You want to go, or you should go?
You should go. Awesome. You should go. Okay, you should go. Right now, if you notice, in all the cases, the verb, all the forms of the verb, we are writing in the infinitive form. Infinitive form, which means we are writing it as it is. They're all ending with na. Okay, आपको खेलना चाहिए, आपको चलना चाहिए, आपको दौड़ना चाहिए, और आपको जाना चाहिए. Right? I mean, let's say a patient is visiting a doctor. Okay, the doctor can say all these things. Right? आपको तैरना चाहिए, आपको सोना चाहिए, you know, आपको time पे उठना चाहिए. Right? You should wake up on time. All those cases can be said here. Any questions here? Like, you know, again, infinitive form of the verb is being used here. You know, so that is the trick. And I didn't change the ending of it. That's another thing, you know, nobody asked me like why I didn't use, you know, a different kind of, you know, if I'm saying pina, why I am only using aapko pina chahiye? Why am I not using aapko pini chahiye by default? But that's a behavior. If I'm not using any additional direct object, I'm leaning toward the masculine form. I'm saying aapko, you know, pina chahiye or aapko khana chahiye. In the next case, I'm going to use some direct object along with it. Okay. Instead of aapko khelna chahiye, I'm going to use aapko cricket khelna chahiye, and then we'll see how it plays out. Do you really change the ending of the infinitive form of the word? Okay, but so far so good, right? This is case number 2. Just to again recap, case number 2, we are still learning about chahiye. In the case number 1, there was no verb. Chahiye was used primarily as a verb, okay, and you only had a noun in between, okay. In case number 2, you have a infinitive form of the verb in between, okay. Any other? I want now, before I go on, why don't you all write down any verb that you think that you are familiar with, and let's see if it makes sense. Aapko, some verb, and then chahiye. Everyone, I want to read your answers before we move on to next case.
Gee, can I ask you something? How
Yeah,
is
yeah,
Chalna written in Devanagari?
yeah. So if I'm writing chahna,
That's what I was-
and na,
Okay.
if I'm using it as a chahiye, chahiye. You can also see it like cha, he, ye. You will also see that. Okay, so let's see what you guys all come up with. Okay, take your time if you need it, but okay.
And I have one more other question.
Mhm.
It's related to the pronoun, the personal pronoun that we're using. You always use the ko, aapko, mujhe.
Yes.
There's because I know I've just learned the whole possessive pronouns, and I was just wondering if it would change if it's related to another possessive thing.
So if it is really direct, if I'm the recipient of something, like if I'm the beneficiary of it,
Yeah.
you will be using ko, and because that's how it translates into Hindi, that to you or to me or
Okay.
to him, something is needed. Okay, and that's why we are using it with ko.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. That's a great question. So and
So,
then
sir, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll answer later, so sorry for that. So if I want to say, instead of I should play, I want to play, in that case, I wouldn't use chahiye, I would use chahata hoon.
So let's do one by one. So first one is I want to play. Okay, how will you say that?
I would say मैं खेलना चाहिए, but
मैं खेलना चाहता हूँ, I want to
चाह
play.
okay चाहता हूँ.
मैं खेलना चाहता हूँ.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
or either that or you say मुझे खेलना चाहिए.
Yeah, but we learned that it is I should play.
मुझे, you know, okay, that's right. You're absolutely right. Okay, so I think, you know, the confusion here is, you know, if some same thing, it can be noun or it can be a verb, right? Then you have to see the context. Okay, if you're simply saying मैं खेलना चाहता हूँ, that means I want to play. There's no confusion, so you're good there. Okay, मैं खेलना चाहता हूँ, you know, it's basically you're using खेलना as a prominent verb, and that's you're absolutely right? I mean, I should play. मुझे खेलना चाहिए. You're completely clear there. I'm thinking about like an example, like खाना can be used in both the cases. मुझे खाना चाहिए, where basically, you know, I need food versus, आपको खाना चाहिए. You should eat. You see that like खाना is both. It can be verb as well as noun.
When it's a noun, then it's very clear, isn't it, Ashu Ji?
Yeah, then it is
मुझे
very
आम चाहिए. I can't do. I should. Mango doesn't work. Whereas
that's absolutely right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And Tara, okay, so just to go over the answers, you know, Tara ji saying तुमको सोचना चाहिए, आपको घूमना चाहिए, okay. All of them you're using verb in between. आपको खाना चाहिए, okay. आपको भागना चाहिए, आपको पढ़ना चाहिए, आपको, I think Simona ji, what's the नाचना चाहिए, or what are you trying to write here?
Natana, to dance.
Oh, नाचना, okay, see.
Oh,
नाचना,
okay.
नाचना, okay. को सोना चाहिए, पढ़ना चाहिए, आपको हिलना चाहिए, okay, you should move, okay. Awesome. Okay, so these are all good, okay. These are all the clear cases, okay, where you have a predominant verb in between. Now let's do to case number 3. One thing is, like in the first case that we did, I used mujhko, okay. You know, the other case, if I were to go back to case number 1, you know, it's मैं something चाहता हूँ. That's a separate, a case in itself, because I'm not really using, mujhko here. And that's why it was basically, it's slightly different, right? मैं something चाहता हूँ. Now, you know, I desire something or I want something, it's also there. The meaning, the fundamental meaning is also there. What I was trying to say is, like, you know, if with the same template, if you're using still like the ko along with the pronoun, and then chahiye ending with the chahiye, how the change in between can modify the sentence. Right? So now you have case number 3, which is basically you are using a direct object. Okay, so you have a direct object that doesn't take without ko. Direct object without ko. So hold on to for this one. I'm gonna explain that a bit more about what do you mean by that, right? So far we had आपको आम चाहिए और आपको खाना चाहिए. Okay, I can combine both of them, and I can say आपको आम खाना चाहिए. Think about it for a minute. This is still the same. आपको was there, चाहिए was there. You just added aam and then khana. You should eat mangoes. Like the doctor would say, आपको apple, फल खाने चाहिए, right? So let's give some more examples. आपको चाय पीनी चाहिए. आपको चाय पीनी चाहिए. You should drink chai or you should drink tea. Okay. आपको किताब पढ़नी चाहिए. Nandini ji, what do you see the main difference from case number 2 to case number 3?
Well, once, we forget about the aapko and decide on the object like chai, that becomes the dominant one and decides how you do the gender. Like kitab becomes padni, whereas when there is no object, we just say padna chahiye. When there is an object, you decide whether it's male or female or singular or plural, and depending on that, you change the
Very good.
verb.
Very good. Okay.
That's what
So
it is.
if it is aam, you said aapko aam khana chahiye. Okay. If it is strawberry, what would you say?
Is it female? Then it'll be
Yeah.
honey chai. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Aapko strawberry khani chahiye. If it is generic fruits,
Khane
what would you-
chahiye.
खाने चाहिए. आपको फल खाने चाहिए और आपको fruits खाने चाहिए. Okay. If it is bunch of strawberries, then it would be
Still khani chahiye.
खानी चाहिए, but there is a nasalized sound to it.
Oh, then.
I always ignore that, but it's not fair, right? So आपको strawberries खानी चाहिए. Okay, same thing. Like you are absolutely right. आपको, if there was nothing, if for generic आपको पीना चाहिए, but then if I'm talking about chai, आपको चाय पीनी चाहिए. Okay, if I'm talking about milk, it's masculine. आपको दूध पीना चाहिए. Okay. Again, if I'm talking about plural, आपको milkshakes पीने चाहिए. Okay. Now it's interesting that Rupert Snell says, like, you are using these, again, these are the nouns along with the verb. I'm not using co with that. Okay. Because these are first inanimate objects. Okay. These are not very specific ones. If I'm saying specifically that आपको इस आम को खाना चाहिए, that means I'm talking to you about a very specific one. Okay, an individual one that you should, for example, kitab. I'm not talking to you, if I'm talking to you about like a very specific book like Pingu learns Hindi, okay, then I can say आपको इस किताब को पढ़ना चाहिए. Then I'm using, after kitab, I'm using one more ko. Okay, so that will be the next case. But hold on to that. Right now, you all see that two things. The verb, the infinitive form of the verb, when there is no ko, is used along with these nouns that you have. The ending change based on the gender and the number of the nouns you have. That's the key thing for this case. Okay. So I want all of you to write some sample examples. All of you. In the second case, not everyone wrote it, okay, and I know who didn't write it. So I want all of you to write some examples, okay. आपको चाहिए, and then use some interesting verbs and along with some direct object. Okay, it's okay to copy Rupert Snell's book also if you feel that's better. Okay.
मेरे को एक दूसरे sorry.
Go for it.
दूसरे सवाल है, तो आपको आम खाना चाहिए मतलब you should eat the mango.
That's
So then
right.
how would I say, do you want mango?
क्या आपको आम चाहिए? So I think you're all talking about case number 0 that I didn't cover it. But if you're saying, do you need mango, right? Is that the question?
Yeah, do you want to eat mango, to be specific?
So here you have two things. Do you want to eat mango? I think why don't you guys first finish this one, and hopefully you wrote it down, and I'm gonna just take a detour and I'm gonna cover that, right? I'm gonna
Okay.
Do you want to eat mango? Okay, so let me erase this part. Hopefully you guys all wrote it. So I will write that. क्या आप मैंगो खाना चाहते हैं? This is how I will say it. क्या आप मैंगो खाना चाहते हैं? So again, it comes down to case number 0 that I didn't cover, and I should have, now hindsight, I should have covered it because I fielded like 3-4 questions so far just on this one, right? So you see that in all of them, you want, आप चाहते हैं, आप चाहते हैं. If it is simply that, आप चाहते हैं, you want, okay. You want mango. आप mango चाहते हैं. Hear me out, okay? Vedant, if it was simply you want, that's आप चाहते हैं. Okay? You want mango, आप mango चाहते हैं. Okay? You want to eat mango, आप mango खाना चाहते हैं. Okay, that's your third. Okay? Fourth is, do you want to eat mango? क्या आप mango खाना चाहते हैं? That's how that thought process will work.
So chahiye is like if you want something, and then if you don't put that, you put like chahiye. It's more like, oh, you should do it.
That's right. So it's basically really chahna versus chahiye. Maybe I should spend more time on it in the next class where you are talking purely about chahna. I just jumped to the chahiye part. Okay. Yeah.
So like if I say आपको, Ashu Ji, आपको पानी चाहिए, would I should I really be saying आपको पानी चाहता है?
I will.
पीना चाहता है?
Yes, I can say मैं पानी पीना चाहता हूँ. If I'm saying it like that, मैं पानी पीना चाहता हूँ. You can say क्या आप पानी चाहते हैं, but then you're really forcing yourself into that, right? I mean, both the cases I'm really forcing myself into that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you, when you say you're forcing yourself, what do you mean there, Ashu Ji?
Well, I can easily say मुझे पानी चाहिए. Right? I mean, that's the comfortable position where I want to say as a native speaker. Like मुझे पानी चाहिए versus like मैं पानी चाहता हूँ. So to make it grammatically right, I'm like forcing myself to say it in a different way.
So that's not what you would actually say, in other words.
I would simply say मुझे पानी चाहिए. That's my comfortable position.
Okay, that's helpful. Thanks.
Yeah. That's as a native speaker, that's what I would prefer. In the other case, like, because I know it, I'm like really playing and forcing myself into that case to get it right. Yeah. So anyone, let's see, before you guys trick me and you ask me a question and I want to see everyone is doing their part as well. So, okay. So I see Jamil, आपको movies देखने चाहिए. If it is simply one movie देखनी चाहिए. Okay. आपको मिठाई बनानी चाहिए. Okay. Navneet is saying that's a good one. Mithai is feminine, Navneet, so it would be मिठाई बनानी चाहिए, or if it is plural, मिठाइयाँ बनानी चाहिए. Okay. Okay. Yirka is wrote, आपको काम खत्म करना चाहिए. Okay. आपको गजल गानी चाहिए. Okay. आपको गाड़ी चलानी चाहिए. Awesome. That's a good one. आपको केक बनाना चाहिए. आपको गांव, what is that, Leon? गांव भरना चाहिए. Oh, I see. That's a good one. It's you. Why don't you explain it, Leon?
I made it like, sorry, I meant it in the sense of you need to heal your wound.
Yeah.
You need to
Yeah.
recover.
Yep. आपको वॉलीबॉल खेलना चाहिए. Awesome. These are all correct. Okay. Kelly is interesting. आपको प्रकृति में होना चाहिए. Okay. We will see the होना case as well. Okay, so is this the case where you should say आपको रियाज करना चाहिए? That is correct. You are using रियाज or you're using practice. If you're using practice, then you say आपको practice करनी चाहिए. But रियाज, because you're using Hindi, आपको रियाज करना चाहिए. So that is absolutely correct. This is the case where and riyaz is inanimate object, so then you're not like forcing and putting ko there. Of course, आपको रियाज करना चाहिए. Hopefully everyone is clear on this one. What did Dhanraj wrote? आपको पनीर बर्गर चाहिए. Is that what you wrote, Dhanraj? Okay, awesome. Ask me questions if there are more. So I'm going to move to. So far, there is no ko in any of those. So just remember that. Okay. After or after anything you wrote, there was no ko. I'm going to go to case number 4 now. Okay. We're still on आपको and चाहिए, not चाहना. Okay. Just remember that. There's no चाहना right now. Next one is आपको. So to show the distinction, I'm going to write down the case number 3 here. If I had आपको किताब पढ़नी चाहिए. Now you see there is no, if I'm just saying आपको किताब पढ़नी चाहिए, that means you should read book. Okay, and we are missing Rita ji because I'm sure she will be happy with this one. She always says like, when do I use ko and when do I not, right? That's her one of the questions. Like now if I have to say आपको, if I'm giving you a specific book and I'm trying to find a copy of the book here, okay, let's say if I find a book and if I say, okay, I just picked up a random book. Okay, so let's say if I say आपको, you should read exactly this book, a specific one. Okay, then I can say आपको इस किताब को चाहिए. What do you think will come here? आपको is this particular one. Okay, this along with को. Okay, इस किताब को, तारा जी, what do you think?
पढ़ना चाहिए.
Okay, why?
Because of को.
Awesome. That was a pretty good one actually. Okay, that was a pretty good one. So she's saying the difference between case number 3 and case number 4 is when you have ko, this automatically goes to the infinitive case. Okay, and it becomes आपको इस किताब को पढ़ना चाहिए. Okay, so regardless, forget about what you learned in case number 3, but so that's the key here to remember that. Okay, similarly, if I'm saying आपको, so this is inanimate object, but because I'm using a particular one, then I'm using ko here. If there are animate objects like आपको, then you should teach kids. Okay, Vedant, how will you say that? You should teach kids.
आपको बच्चे सिखाना चाहिए.
Okay, plural.
सिखाने.
No. So kids are plural. I'm saying you should teach kids, not kid. So आपको.
So बच्चे is not.
Bachche is plural, but it's used with the postposition.
God, बच्चे को.
Like लड़के plus को.
बच्चों को.
Very good. बच्चों.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Keep going. आपको बच्चों को
सिखाना चाहिए.
सिखाना चाहिए और पढ़ाना चाहिए. Either way is fine. पढ़ाना चाहिए. Okay, you see that you're naturally ending it with na.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. आपको बच्चों को पढ़ाना चाहिए. Next one. Next, you should not shout at kids. Who would like to give it a try? Devi, you want to give it a try? You should not, and the verb here is डांटना. डांटना is to rebuke or to shout or to scream.
आपको बच्चों को मत डांटना चाहिए.
आपको बच्चों को डांटना. Instead of mat, can you use something else?
ना. नहीं.
नहीं. Awesome. आपको बच्चों को डांटना नहीं चाहिए. Awesome. आपको बच्चों को डांटना नहीं चाहिए. Right? Like you see, again, all relatives do that, right? I mean, when you see that, you can say बच्चों को मत डांटे. आपको बच्चों को डांटना नहीं चाहिए. Again, you have animate objects, बच्चे, plural is बच्चों, बच्चे basically, and then along with को, so it's बच्चों को. Okay. The verb is डांटना, and then you are really not changing it. Right? It will not change either way, but आपको बच्चों को डांटना नहीं चाहिए. Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I came late. What is animate? I don't understand this.
Yeah.
Animate.
So, yeah, that's a good one. Who would like to answer that before I jump into the anyone else? Vatsalaji, you want to tell us what is animate versus inanimate?
Could it be living versus
Yeah, you
living?
are absolutely right. Living versus, I should have used that. Living versus not living. Kitab is like, it doesn't breathe, right? That's why, it's basically, I was using it in animate, right? Bache, they breathe, they live, right? I mean, that's why it's basically, I was using it in that sense. They can take co for the almost all cases. These, if you're talking about a specific individualized one, then they'll take co. Otherwise, you will not use co with them.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Great
Ashu,
question. Yeah.
Ashu ji, I have a question.
Yeah.
So instead of saying आपको इस किताब को पढ़ना चाहिए, can we also say आपको यह किताब पढ़नी चाहिए?
You can say that. You can absolutely say that. आपको यह किताब पढ़नी चाहिए.
Thank you.
You can say that. Yeah.
So then where's the difference between animated and inanimate? Like आपको इस किताब को पढ़ना चाहिए versus आपको बच्चों को पढ़ना चाहिए. Bachcho are animated. So then what's the difference between these two sentences?
In this one, there is no difference because here I'm saying a specific book, that you should read. If I'm using the same sentence, in the previous case, I will say आपको किताब पढ़नी चाहिए. You are ending with me. And kitab is still determining the how this change is happening. आपको किताब पढ़नी चाहिए. That means you should read books like you are in grad school or you're in school right now. You should read books. Okay. But the second case, I'm encouraging you or I'm telling you to read a specific book. Okay. That's when I'm saying आपको इस किताब को पढ़ना चाहिए and पढ़ना चाहिए, not पढ़नी चाहिए. Okay. If I don't want to use any of it, you can just go with what Vatsala ji just mentioned. आपको यह किताब पढ़नी चाहिए, and that's absolutely correct. Which one? Tell me if we're still causing any confusion, Vedant.
Yeah, so like kitab is obviously inanimate, but I just don't see the difference between what the difference makes if the object is animate or not, because bachos are animated and I don't see any difference between kitab and
in this one, because you're comparing this and this, you don't see a difference. If you compare this and this, you will see a difference.
Okay, so pardon because it's general kitabs, right?
That's
not
right.
a specific kitab. Then
Right.
the last one is आपको बच्चों का डांटना नहीं चाहिए.
That's right.
So instead of डांटनी, it's डांटना because it's बच्चों in general, but bachcho are
So the
living.
thing is that, so here's the thing. I think you're mixing two things. These living objects, they will always take co.
Yeah.
I was just trying to put this. So what I did was I put this example along with it to show you that even with inanimate objects, you can put co if you're talking about a specific one. Okay. These one. Let me give you one more example. You should tell this thing to your friend is John, and I'm asking you that you should tell this thing to John. How would you say that?
You should.
Okay. You should tell this to John. How will I say that to you in Hindi?
आपको ये बात आपको जानने ये बात बताने.
Right? आपको
बताने चाहिए. बताना चाहिए.
आपको John को
ये बात, like this thing.
Okay, ये बात.
आपको जान को ये बात बताना चाहिए.
Okay, आपको John को ये बताना चाहिए. Okay, I'm not putting बात. ये will confuse you. आपको John को ये बात यह बताना चाहिए. That's right. Right. So आपको John को यह बताना चाहिए. You see that you used John को you by default you just put na there.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. But I think I see your confusion, but I don't have the example of like, replacing it with,
Computer, like if I want to say used to tell to the computer, like if you speak to the computer, that's an inanimate object.
yeah. So how will, the thing is like, it's a very vague example, but try it. Let's see if it works out. How will you say that?
Yeah, just tell me how this works out. Okay, so आपको computer को ये बतानी चाहिए. That's it. Just change the na to a ni.
No. So it will be the same, right? This is regardless of inanimate or animate, you are still doing the na there.
Okay.
Right? That's not the, that was not the point. The point is, if you're not using ko, if you go back to case number 3, then you'll say aapko kitna, aapko. I think you're mixing the scenario.
Ashu Ji, may I say something?
Yeah, go for it.
I might be completely wrong, but I kind of understand it like me. Once the ko comes there, I know what's there before. I think. Not that I can use it, but then it becomes like male singular after. If you look at the examples that you've given generally, that's how it's working. No?
One more time, Nandini ji.
See, aapko kitab padni chahiye because it follows the kitab and it becomes padni.
That's right. Aapko kitab padni chahiye.
And bachon ko, after, even though it's children, the ko kind of blocks the bachon and it becomes like male singular or just the original form, like danchna.
That is correct.
Almost like a nay blocker. I think of it as a co blocker. I might be completely wrong, but
you are right there. But
that's it.
No, you are right there. You're absolutely right there. And that's why. But my question is, I'm struggling to understand the question. The question is why we are using ko. Or
I mean, again, my understanding is with an inanimate object, there are some places where you can use the ko, and you can get away without using the ko. Whereas if it's a human being, you have to always, it's obligatory to add the ko. That's my understanding.
Yeah, that is correct. That is, your understanding is absolutely correct. In the inanimate objects,
when you're becoming a specific, you're specifying something, then you're adding the ko. Otherwise, just forget the ko.
That's right. That's absolutely correct.
With the inanimate. Even.
Yeah, your understanding is absolutely correct. Now coming back to Vedant's question, I'm still trying to understand.
Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah. What is the confusion? In which case you will have confusion or question, not confusion, rather?
No, what Nandini ji is saying makes sense then. So like if we're talking about a specific item, even if it's inanimate, we got to put the ko. But like if I'm saying aapko, like let's say this computer, like I want to tell my computer or something, right? So aapko computer ko ye batana chahiye. Was that right first?
I mean, it grammatically doesn't make sense. Like, what will you tell it to computer? But आपको इस computer को देखना चाहिए और खरीद. Like, you should buy this laptop. आपको इस computer को खरीदना चाहिए. How about that? Like, because then I'm like, first is आपको यह computer खरीदना चाहिए. Second one is definitely saying like आपको यह computer, को खरीदना चाहिए. Okay. How about this bike? आपको इस बाइक को खरीदना चाहिए. Okay, versus आपको बाइक खरीदनी चाहिए. If I'm saying आपको बाइक खरीदनी चाहिए, that means I'm talking about generally, Vedant, you should buy a bike. Right?
Bike खरीदनी चाहिए.
खरीदनी चाहिए. I said खरीदनी चाहिए. But I'm saying you should buy this specific one. I don't drive bike, so I don't know. But let's say something very, very specific one, the fanciest one.
So then it'll be, you said आपको इस bike खरीदना चाहिए, right?
That's right. आपको इस bike को खरीदना चाहिए. That's absolutely right.
Okay, now it makes sense. Okay, thank you. Dhanyavad.
Anyone else? I've not spoken with you, Anna, because I can't see your video. So by default, I always
Don't talk.
Hanging in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Clear questions?
Yeah, I think so.
No, then okay.
Awesome.
I have a question. So if I doing something, like if I am going to India, would we use chahiye also in it? Like if I want to go to India?
So again, we're going back to I want to go to India. Okay? So if maybe I should make a case, right? I want to go to India. How will you say that? Let me ask you this way, Dhanraj. Why don't you try it?
मुझे चाहिए इंडिया जाता हूँ.
So again, go back to chahna here. मैं चाहता हूँ. I want. Okay, so मैं चाहता हूँ. There's no मुझे here now. Okay, you're using it as a, you desire something, right? मैं चाहता हूँ. Okay, so मैं, try it again. It's go back to like I want to. I think Vedant used some example. I want to eat mango, right? So you will say मैं चाहता हूँ is like I desire or I want. Okay, now you have to go. Okay, that
So
would be,
जाना is to go.
yes, मैं जाना चाहता हूँ.
Oh.
Yeah, so you will say मैं India जाना चाहता हूँ. That's exactly what you're trying to say here.
Yeah.
मैं India जाना चाहता हूँ. I think the more and more I see that I should have just put it as a case 0. This should have been a different case altogether. So not only you will see the distinct cases of chahiye, even the confusion between chahna and chahiye will be clear as well. Yeah. Anyway, let's go back to next case number 5. So far, in all of them, we didn't use any the irregular verbs. Okay, so as if this was not straightforward. So let's say, what if I use word like hona and rakhna along with some of the nouns? Okay, and what do I mean by that? So let's say I have मुझे आम चाहिए. मुझे आम चाहिए. Okay, then I'm saying, what does it mean? Who would tell me? Let's see, whoever hasn't had a chance yet. Why don't I ask you, Anna, because I want to make sure you woke up so early. It's worth it. So, मुझे आम चाहिए.
Oh my goodness. Is this not the first case that we said? I want a mango or something?
That's right.
Yeah?
I want or I need. Yeah, I need mango.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah.
This is a straightforward one, right? Then you're saying mangoes, like you go to a shop and you are asking them like, I need mangoes. मुझे आम चाहिए.
Mhm.
Mangoes should be sweet. How will you say that? Often we do that, right? We go to a farmer's market or somewhere and we say, okay,
Mango. Oh, good question.
mango should be sweet.
Is this meaty or something with sweet? What is sweet? Meaty or something? Was it?
That's right. That's right. Sweet is meetha.
Okay.
Yeah.
होना चाहिए.
Say it again.
Meaty होना चाहिए.
It is masculine and it's plural.
Mita or mite? I don't know.
Yeah. No, you don't doubt yourself. You're absolutely good. Okay. So if
Mite.
it is singular, yeah, am meethe.
होना चाहिए.
Awesome. Because it's plural, am meethe.
होने चाहिए.
Very good. I don't know why you stop yourself. I think you are pretty good there. So am meethe hone chahiye. Awesome, right? I need mangoes. मुझे आम चाहिए. भाई साहब, you can say to the person, आम मीठे होने चाहिए. Okay. Now, tell everyone how you came up with putting hona here. I think that is the main question. How it came to you that I should put hona.
I can't explain this, Ashu Ji, sorry.
Try. How it came naturally to you, right?
I really can't. I'm sorry.
Okay. Who would like to try? I think Kelly ji, you probably have an answer to that.
Anna, I know you can do it. You are doing so good. Come on. You want to try?
No, it's okay. You can do this.
So the sweet, right? That you've got the plural for mangoes. So the hona instead of hona is going to be hone, reflecting the direct object there.
Yeah. No, but why did I put the verb all together? Mita hona.
Oh, be sweet. What do you mean? Oh, well, we had, yeah.
That's right. So basically, you're saying it's the state, right? So be
Right.
something, to be, right? So
Right.
I think, yeah. So
Be sweet.
to be, you have to use the verb, like, that's why I'm using hona here. It's a property of the mango, right? So that's why meethe hone chahiye. Okay.
Isn't what's mitaya? Isn't that sweet also, or is that a different?
Meetha versus mithai, it's the same. The origin is the same.
All right.
Meethe hone chahiye. Okay. What if I were to say, like if I go to an Indian restaurant, okay, I think, in your breakout room, you should really do that exercise, that, you really make a case. You go to, all of you are sitting in a restaurant. Really, you should come back with the answers to me. Like, and you are being very specific about what kind of food you want. Okay, I'm going to give examples so you get a clue about. So let's say you again go to a restaurant and they are known to serve you cold food. Okay, and you are very particular, even though you like the restaurant and you like, I want rotis. Rotis should be they should be warm or hot. How will I say that? Rotis should be. Who would like to give it a try? Devi, you want to try it?
Rotli's garam hona chahiye.
Awesome. Roti garam is feminine, so roti garam. It's feminine, so the ending would be
Honi chahiye.
That's right. Roti garam honi chahiye. Great. Okay. Roti garam honi chahiye. Okay. Same thing, right? You order mango lassi and you can say mango lassi thandi honi chahiye. Okay. You want a cold mango lassi. You don't want like a bland one, right? Let's say you order a chai, right, or a coffee. You say chai. Same thing. Chai garam honi chahiye. Okay. Chai garam honi chahiye. Okay. You see that all of them, I'm not really putting ko in bit. I don't have to. Like chai garam honi chahiye. Okay. They are not, as Nandini mentioned, there is no obligation to add ko there. Okay. Roti garam honi chahiye, chai garam honi chahiye. Okay. I can also say मौसम अच्छा होना चाहिए. Like the weather should be good. मौसम अच्छा होना चाहिए. Okay. How will I say? So let me write one more example. Like, you go to watch a movie and you're like, or this movie should be good, right? So movie अच्छी होनी चाहिए. Okay, movie अच्छी होनी चाहिए. I hope you can all read it clearly. I'm going to change it. Movie अच्छी होनी चाहिए. Okay. I think Rupert Snell then switches to an example of like, ko here. So far, I didn't put ko here. I think I don't have the copy of the book here, but if I have to say like, kids should be something like बच्चों को I can say होना चाहिए. kids should be naughty. Okay, बच्चों को शरारती होना चाहिए. शरारती होना चाहिए. Okay. I'm just trying to think about more examples that I can give here. Yusuf ji, maybe you can help me here. What else would you say? बच्चों को शरारती होना चाहिए. बच्चों को
चुप
होना.
बच्चों को आज्ञाकारी होना चाहिए, obedient.
So you can say बच्चों को चुप रहना चाहिए. And what does it mean? They should stay quiet. So, right? It's basically that's what it means, right? So you are then again putting an like a living, and then you're putting co to that, right? बच्चों को आज्ञाकारी is like discipline, or so I can say आज्ञा. It's a longer one, so bear with me. आज्ञाकारी होना चाहिए. That's your case number 5, where you're putting really hona or rakhna or these kind of verbs after your the first part of the sentence. Questions on this one? Are you guys ready to create a scenario in a breakout? I think we're already past time, but we'll just do a quick breakout room. So folks who are watching live, we'll meet again next Sunday. Thanks so much for your time.